In this video, I'd like to show you how to knit the Pique Rib Stitch. This is a perfect stitch for beginners to tackle. It has just a 4-row repeat to remember, and the repeat pattern across your rows is just 3 stitches long, so it's really not very complicated to get to grips with at all. It's not a reversible pattern. On the front of your work, you get these lovely defined stitches with these nice slender rows of ribbing in between, and on the reverse of your work, you get these nice singular rows of stockinette stitch that still make a ribbed effect, but obviously look very different to the right side of your work. I think that the fact that you get 2 really nice defined types of texture on both the front and the back of your work makes the Pique Rib Stitch perfect for projects like scarves or cowls or anything where you want to see texture on both sides of the work but don't always want that texture to be identical. So without further ado, let's jump right in and start knitting this stitch. The pattern multiple for Pique Rib Stitch is 3 plus 2. So you want to cast on in multiples of 3, and then once you've done that, you want to add 2 more stitches on just to finish off that cast on. I'm just going to knit a small sample today, so I'm just going to cast on a very small number of stitches, but you can cast on however many stitches you like, and although I'm using the long tail cast on method, please don't feel like you have to use that method if there is another one that you are more familiar with. Row 1 is a right side row, and you are going to work as follows. You are going to work knit 2 and purl 1 across your row until you have 2 stitches left to work. So that's knit 2, purl 1, all the way until you have 2 stitches left to work. So it's a really nice and easy short pattern multiple that you need to remember when working across your row. The extra 2 stitches at the end of our row help to keep our piece symmetrical at the side, so we're still going to carry on in pattern and knit those last 2 stitches. And that's row 1 complete. Row 2 is very similar. It's a wrong side row, and you are going to work purl 2, knit 1 until you have 2 stitches left to work. So it's still a 3 stitch repeat across the row, but it's effectively the opposite of what we did for row 1. So you are going to purl 2 and knit 1 all the way across your row until you have 2 stitches left to work. Just like with row 1, the last 2 stitches of row 2 are still worked in pattern, but instead of being knit stitches, we are going to purl these last 2 stitches. And again, this helps to keep our sides nice and symmetrical and keep our stitch pattern looking nice and even. And that's row 2 done. Row 3 is exactly the same as row 1, so you are going to work across repeating knit 2, purl 1 until you have 2 stitches left to work on that left hand needle. So just like row 1, you're going to work across working knit 2, purl 1 until you have 2 stitches left to work on your left hand needle. The final 2 stitches of the row are just 2 knit stitches, so knit those 2 stitches that you have left to work. Row 4, the final row of our 4-row repeat, is a little bit different to the other 3 rows, but it's actually the easiest of the 4 rows that you're going to work. So for row 4, you are going to knit every single stitch all the way across. There are no purls at all in row 4. So that's our 4-row repeat completed. You can already slowly start to see the texture starting to appear on this right side of our work, and because it's such a nice and short repeat, I am going to just cover it for you very briefly once more. Row 1, you want to work knit 2, purl 1 all the way across your row until you have 2 stitches left to work. That's knit 2, purl 1 all the way across until you have 2 stitches left to work. The last 2 stitches of the row should be falling in pattern, so after a purl stitch, and you are going to knit them. Row 2, you are going to work purl 2, knit 1 all the way across until you have 2 stitches left to work. So it's the opposite of row 1. Instead of working knit 2, purl 1, we are going to work purl 2, knit 1 all the way across until we have 2 stitches left to work. The last 2 stitches again should fall in pattern, so they should come after a knit 1, and you are just going to purl those final 2 stitches. Row 3 is another right side row, and it is the same as row 1, so you are going to knit 2, purl 1 all the way across your row until you have 2 stitches left. So that's knit 2, purl 1, all the way across until you have 2 stitches left. As with the other rows, these last 2 stitches should fall in patterns. They should come after a purl one, and you are just going to carry on and knit those final 2 stitches. Row 4 is nice and easy. You are going to knit all the way across, knitting every single stitch. There are absolutely 0 purls in row 4. They are all knit stitches. After 2 repeats, you can see our stitch pattern is starting to form nicely, and you will go away now and repeat those 4 rows as many times as you want to. And when it comes to casting off, you would cast off knitwise on a row 4. That will give you nice symmetry top and bottom of your work. And that's how you knit pique rib stitch. If you'd like a written pattern, I do have one on my blog. I will link that down below so you can go and have some written instructions to follow along with. And if you found this video useful, then I would absolutely love it if you would give it a thumbs up, and I'll be back for another video again soon.